The fight for top page in DMM Tournament is absolutely fierce right now. The gaps are getting closer and closer and there is only 6 days left of the tournament. However, there are certain strategies players use to gain more points than anyone else, and today I want to show you some of these ideas just to put into perspective how crazy players are going for that sweet prize pool. I'm currently sitting at rank 17 and let me tell you, if I miss a single day then I'm out of the top page, so we better start putting these ideas into use. To explain the strategies, let me first explain how the point system works. There are a few ways to gain points in Deadman Mode. The best way to get them is through breaches, but those only happen every 8 hours and isn't enough to gain top ranks. That being said, every player who does want to keep their top ranks has to make sure to attend as many breaches as possible, because usually you can get up to 3000 points per breach, sometimes even up to 5 or 6000 if you're lucky. There are also other ways to get points, like doing glue scrolls, achievement diaries, questing, skilling. Like for example, me just walking into the Magic Guild gave me 28 points, but all of these are far inferior compared to doing PvM activities, aka killing bosses, because bosses give you the most amount of points. Take this example. Completing your first Chambers of Ceric raid gives you 3600 points. In comparison, one quest point gives you 10 points. So in order to get the same amount of points, you would need to get 360 quest points. Yeah, PvM is an absolute monster compared to everything else. Not only do you get massive points for your first KC, you get extra points for every KC afterwards as well. So for example, first KC of Abyssal Sire gives you 400 points and every KC afterwards is 20 points. To make sure players don't abuse the system too hard, Jagex capped the point system at 100 KC and every kill afterwards only gives you half the points. But there are certain monsters out there that even with half the points, it's still the best possible strategy. And I want to showcase some of them to you and basically show you how people and maybe even myself are gonna try to win this tournament. And we're starting with my personal favorite, Cerberus. Firstly, you do actually need to get a task to do this and you do need to have a 93 Slayer requirement, so that might put a stop for a lot of players. But there is a sigil out there that helps you get any task you want. All you have to do is spend 30 points. So all I pretty much did was complete first 10 tasks to gain some points, and since then I've always chosen my tasks thanks to this sigil. The reason I like Cerberus the most is because it's the safest and the fastest, despite having a few obstacles. As we all know, every boss in Deadman Mode is a PvP zone, meaning peekers can come in and just hunt you down. In Cerberus though, the gates have such a long animation timer that you can just teleport out. It's also the only boss I'm gonna show you today that is not the multi-zone, which is a very important factor. That being said, Cerberus gives you 500 points for the first KC, 25 points until the 100 KC, and 12 points every KC afterwards. Meaning that basically one task of Cerberus gives you on average 2000 points. It is also so much good loot. Peekers use all 3 crystals in the game mode, which makes pretty much all drops valuable. I currently killed over 500 Cerberus and I mean, look at my loot tab. It basically allowed me to buy any gear I wanted in this game mode, or if you want to just swap the gold out, I think the rates are still going 1-to-1 at the moment. Okay, I'm gonna show you 2 more bosses and the next one is the one that solo mission actually does, and it's King Black Dragon. And this boss actually got him rank 1 as well. It has basically the same idea behind it. You get a bit less points for KBD, but it also has much less requirements. For instance, KBD has only 240 hit points while Cerberus has 600. One big downside to KBD is that it is multi-zone like I mentioned before, and when you teleport into KBD lair, the only way you can get out is if KBD is dead, otherwise you will not be able to teleport out. So when you're in mid-kill and a clan jumps into the lair, that's it, you're done, you can't escape, there is no way out. It is so over for you. So despite the fact that it is easier to gain points in KBD, it's also much more riskier. Plus KBD doesn't have the best drop rates besides a Visage and a Dragon Pickaxe. Like I said, currently Solo Mission is rank 1 in the leaderboard and he has almost 2000 KC of King Black Dragon, which equals to about 20,000 points for one boss. And the final boss the top ranks are hunting is Scorpio. Now Scorpio is pretty similar style to KBD, it's even more easier to kill, it gives the same amount of points, and it's in the deep wieldy multi-zone. Also, it doesn't have the best drops. Currently the rank 1 Scorpio is Mazahar, who has an insane amount of Scorpio KC, over 5000, which again equals to almost 50,000 points. There are a few other bosses out there, like for example the God Wars bosses are a good try because all of them have valuable loot, but again it's multi-zone and it's a hotspot for PKs, and whenever you find yourself in a multi-zone you better expect PKs to be there as well. Then you have bosses like the Galphite Queen, Kraken, TT2 bosses and few others. One thing I noticed top ranks really love to do is raiding, which gives you about 200 points per run on average, if you also calculate in the combat achievements you get during the raid. However, raids do take up to 40 minutes in Deadman mode. So basically you have to think, is it worth getting 300 points per hour doing raids? Or for example, killing 30 Scorpio per hour, which is much more likely to happen. Plus, what I've noticed this Deadman mode is that the most contested hotspot for PKers is raids lobby, whether it's Chambers of Serik, Doa, DOB and so on. One boss I haven't mentioned but is probably the most valuable boss money-wise on the list is Hanlev. Corrupted content actually dumps out money and it has a good point ratio as well. You get 500 points for your first run and 25 points for every run afterwards. Since there are a lot of powerful sigils on Deadman mode like the Ninja sigil, Precision, Titanium, Aggression and so many more, the runs themselves are super easy and can be done in 5, 6 or 7 minutes regularly. But again, one downside to that is that the lobby is a PvP zone, meaning let's say you're about to finish your run and as soon as you jump outside, a PKer is gonna wait for you. So despite the fact that it's probably one of the best moneymakers in Deadman mode, due to the fact that every PKer wants a BOFA, it's also very risky. If you want something safe to kill, I would definitely consider something like Giant Mole or something like Sarachnis, bosses that are very easy to kill and also have fast routes to safety. In conclusion, the next 6 days are gonna be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to race with others to find out who is gonna end up on the top page and take part of the $25,000 prize pool Jagex set out. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you all tomorrow with another video. I love you all very much. Bye.